Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about Ho-Oh V. I am legitimately excited, ladies and gentlemen. I am legitimately excited. There's like a million things I love about this card. I love that people were scared we weren't getting a Ho-Oh, and now we are. I love the Akira Agawa artwork, which is absolutely stunning. And I love that the ability here is probably the most complicated thing that I have yet translated from Pokemon TCG cards all by myself, and I am rather delighted indeed. So, although I did check with a lovely Anton Boulet, obviously, because I'm not silly. So, what have we got here, ladies and gentlemen? We've got Ho-Oh V. Why is this important? Well, we know that the next, it's not actually been revealed yet, but we know that the next set is going to be Paradigm Trigger. And we know from listings of merch and such that it is going to have Lugia, almost certainly as a V-Star, and we know that the next English set name is going to be Silver Tempest, which absolutely screams Lugia, so we are getting a Lugia V and almost certainly a Lugia V-Star in the next Japanese set. People don't like it when there's two box legendaries and one gets a lot of love and the other one doesn't. There was going to be a glaring Ho-Oh-shaped hole in the Pokemon TCG. Well, now there isn't, because now we're getting Ho-Oh V. To answer the question that I've already seen a bunch of people asking, and I know a bunch of people are going to be wondering after seeing this, hey Wassy, are we going to be getting Ho-Oh V-Star? Almost certainly not. I can't say for absolute certain, but almost certainly not. And the reason is extremely simple. When Pokemon reveal Pokemon V that have V-Stars, they reveal them together. I showed you in the previous video Superior V and V-Star. I showed you during the initial reveal Alolan Vulpix V and V-Star. There's only going to be one more V-Star incidentally. These mini sets have 6 Pokemon V and 3 V-Star. So, it could be the final V-Star. That could happen, but it is at this stage very, very unlikely. Do not expect it to happen. This is going to be a Pokemon V, but hey, at least it got some love. Now, as for the Agawa artwork, I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Akira Agawa has been absolutely crushing it lately. It's getting to the point where I kind of just want them to be contracted to do all of the Pokemon V because it's that gosh darned awesome. Now, I know the style might not fit, but, you know, things like Luxray that we saw in Astral Radiance, that was kind of stunning. And to be fair, Chandler VMAX is the best VMAX we've seen. That's absolutely ridiculous. We can look at the Tapu Koko from Battle Styles. These are all just absolutely stunning. And I, for one, hope Agawa just keeps doing this. Just keeps drawing all of these Pokemon V. Because, oh my goodness, they are absolutely stunning. But I told you the card was super interesting. So what does it actually do? Well, it's got a rather wordy but very, very interesting ability. If this Pokemon is in your discard during your turn, you may put it from your discard pile straight onto your bench. Yay! And you can attach up to 4 basic energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon. Yay! Your turn ends. Oh. And this is another one of those, and this has been happening quite a lot lately in the Pokemon TCG. An absolutely stunning ability that we absolutely adore that ends your turn. Now, what's interesting is this is going to remind a bunch of people of the Ho-Oh EX that came around in Dragons Exalted. Now, that one had the put it from your discard pile onto your bench, but it was on a coin flip, and it was 3 different types of basic energy, whereas this one is clearly just 4 basic energy, 4 not 3, and they can all be the same type if you like. I actually prefer the old Ho-Oh's ability, and the reason was you could put like 3 or 4 Ho-Oh in the discard and get 3 or 4 flips, and it meant you got multiple options, multiple ways to try and do it. It also meant that you would be able to potentially get multiples of these in one go. This ends your turn. So it puts a lot of pressure on you, especially in the early game, because what you really want to do is try and get this Ho-Oh out, ideally turn 1 going first. But in order to do that, you've got to get this into your discard pile, and you've got to get the energy into your discard pile, all really on turn 1 before, you're giving up turns to do this. And don't get me wrong, we got some good wall Pokemon around at the moment. Miltank. Miltank's a very nice wall Pokemon. It's a basic Pokemon that doesn't get damaged by attacks from Pokemon V. So potentially you can buy yourself a turn with Miltank. Although your opponent can always gust up Ho-Oh and then attack it, and that's a bit of a pain. Although I should mention, you have got 230 HP, which is high for a Pokemon V, and resistance to fighting is never a bad thing. Though it does share a weakness with Palkia here, and that's a bit of a problem, but because people are gunning for Palkia, and that means that people will be playing lightning-type attackers. So not terribly ideal, but not the end of the world. And this is the problem. I don't like ending my turn. I really don't. I love the ability, but ending your turn is big. Now, the good news is, what you can do is you can use this as a bit of an engine. So what you can do is play something like Bronzong in a metal deck. And this is just a way of getting 4 metal energy onto the field, and then Bronzong can obviously move them around as you like. It just lets you move your metal energy around the field. So essentially, this is just your way of getting them out, and then Bronzong can move them where you need them to. Or you can just play a bunch of energy switch, knowing that as soon as you've used one Ho-Oh, all of those energy switch basically just turn into attaching an extra energy, which is clearly wonderful. Or you can just attack with Ho-Oh. What does Ho-Oh do? 4 colorless energy minimum, 100 damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each type of basic energy attached to this Pokemon. So although you can use this ability to get multiple of the same type of energy onto it, absolutely possible, it is worth pointing out that you kind of need different types of energy. Because if they're all the same kind of energy, you did 130 damage. If these are all metal, you do 100 damage plus 30 for the metal, boom, 130. That's not good enough. But if you've got 4 different types of energy, now all of a sudden you're doing 220, that's enough to get just a flat KO onto a Pokemon V, which is lovely. But then we keep going. If you get a 5th type of energy on there, then all of a sudden you're doing 250, but now you had a choice belt on there, you're doing 280. Well, now all of a sudden, that's a one-hit KO on Pokemon VSTAR, which is pretty big. If you've got 6 different types of energy on there, then you're dealing 280, which is a flat KO on a VSTAR, but then you had a choice belt and Radiant Hawlucha, and now you're dealing 340, and that's enough to get a KO on anything. The biggest VMAXs will go down at that stage, which is actually really nice. How do you get the 6 different types of energy on there? It's weirdly not as difficult as you might be thinking, because what you've got here is your ability, which will get 4 types of energy. Then you can use something like a Melanie, which will get water on there. This can be your supporter for the turn. So that's a 5th type of energy, assuming one wasn't water. You add a 6th type of energy as your attachment for the turn. Boom, 6 types of energy. Now, although it's theoretically very possible, you've got to bear in mind this is awkward. Because in order for this to work, you've got to get 4 different types of basic energy in your discard. One of which, well, really 5. One of which is water. Then use the ability. Then next turn you use Melanie, then your attachment for the turn, which is a 6th type of basic energy, and then you're off and rolling. This has a lot of potential, but my big issue here is you get your first big Ho-Oh, and you're doing this before your opponent's really got rolling, and that's wonderful. So you've got one big Ho-Oh which is coming out to absolutely smash. What happens when it goes down? Because Ho-Oh really needs the ability to get enough different types of basic energy on to make it worthwhile. And the problem is that when your first Ho-Oh goes down, you're giving up a turn in order to actually get a second one going. And I'm honestly thinking this might be a little bit too much. I want to be wrong. I desperately want to be wrong. But the fact that it ends your turn is absolutely huge. Let's be clear. If it didn't end your turn, it would be absolutely full-on broken. We couldn't do that. But it's still awkward. I mean, another option would be Diancie from Astral Radiance. because while it's active, your opponent cannot play a supporter card to affect your bench. So essentially with Diancie, what you're doing there is giving up one prize. You're leaving a 90 HP Pokemon in the active, it's going to get KO'd. So you're giving up one prize to get basically a fully rolling Ho-Oh going. And to be fair, if you're going for Ho-Oh, you can give up one Diancie with no downside. Because your opponent KOs one Diancie, free Ho-Oh, boom. That's 7 prizes, it's fine. They KO Diancie and 2 Ho-Oh, they've still got to KO a third Ho-Oh to win the game, just the same as if they hadn't KO'd Diancie. But after that, it does get a little bit awkward. So, I don't know, maybe this could end up working. It does worry me. Do remember that Fortin is coming, and that lets you swap a basic Pokemon in your discard pile, one of your basic Pokemon in play. And that is actually really nice with this, because essentially what you do is you get Ho-Oh with all the different kinds of energy, and then use Fortin to just swap it out, but you are still ending your turn to do so. It's not ideal. I'm going ahead and giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. There is so much potential here, and I want this to be good. But my problem is, I think in a lot of games, if you can get the discard early enough, and it is a problem, then yes, you can get one of these. But getting the second Ho-Oh is going to be early. If you don't get the discard going before your opponent gets set up, this is going to be awkward. There is a lot that can go wrong here, and I am a bit nervous. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and join the Discord where we chat Pokemon. And we give shout-outs to people like the lovely UberMX, who is a very lovely person. Thank you very much for supporting and being a lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.